I thought it would be fun to, I was about to say waste my Friday. I'm gonna spend the last like 2 hours of daylight that I have not going outside, enriching my life with what the world has to offer me, hanging out with friends, visiting family, doing none of that. No, I'm gonna spend the last 2 hours of daylight trying to put on lashes. I'm gonna do like a full face. This is essentially just gonna be like a chatty get ready with me. But I'm gonna try and put on lashes because I've never successfully done it, and I feel like today is the goddamn day.
I'm gonna take my time. She gon' get hers before
I look rough. Oh, I haven't been wrapping my hair, so that's why I look this way. Just gonna let me move my bangs so I can read that. Oh, I'm ugly. I'm so ugly. Okay, it's alright. It's fine. No one's pretty the more you look at them, you know? Okay, we're doing a full goddamn face to prepare for these lashes because that's what we're gonna do. I haven't put on makeup in a really long time because I've been chilling and in school, and it's winter, and like, why? Actually, winter is the time to wear makeup because you don't really have to worry about sweating it off, I guess. I still don't know how to properly like beat my face in the same way that like some of my friends can. And I'm not talking about my friends who are drag queens because that's like just not a fair comparison. I'm talking about my friends who just wear makeup as a part of their everyday. Shout out to Greta, who is impeccable at makeup, and I will never achieve that level. My general makeup routine is like brows, like waterline, a lip gloss, maybe some like, I like demoted myself from like winged eyeliner to just doing like a dark, like thin thing of like eyeshadow to kind of look like a wing. And then occasionally bronzer if I'm like going out, which is like so not a lot. I've always been really into makeup, like as a concept. I think it's, I'm gonna put on BB cream, it. Yeah, makeup's always been interesting to me, like as a concept. And I've always like been really excited about like one day wearing makeup. My mom wasn't the type of person who wore a lot of makeup, so growing up it wasn't like something that she really wanted me to like wear or feel as though like I needed to wear it. And my like constant defense of it was like, it's to enhance my features. Which like it was, I guess. Part of that was like the inspo for wanting it all over my face. But I think like the other part that I like wasn't obviously talking about was that I kind of wanted to wear makeup as a way of feeling more feminine. Because growing up around white girls and having a lot of that like media of like, okay, this is what like a pretty feminine girl looks like, I never really felt as though I matched into that, and it was kind of hard. I would swim competitively. I did that for 8 years, and because I was like constantly in this like state of athleticism, my body obviously changed to match the force and like exercise that I was like putting onto it. So I became very muscular, especially around my arms, and I wouldn't really wear like tube tops or like crop tops or anything like that. And then also because like my metabolism at that point is going like 50 miles a minute, because that's how metabolisms work. I was like skinny, but I was also like always burning calories, so like I had a lot of muscle mass, and I was always like sweating, and it was kind of gross, and I just didn't feel really like girly. And when I was really young, I would always be like forced into wearing dresses. So then I was kind of just like rebelling against that because I was like, okay, these things make me uncomfortable. I don't like wearing tights. I don't like wearing like Mary Janes. I don't like, you know, wearing dresses. And it was always for like occasions, and it never felt like something to just do. So that became a large thing as well, of like not really feeling comfortable wearing really feminine clothes. A lot of my shirts were really baggy. I wore jeans all the time. And then just from being like acutely aware of the fact that I don't want to say like developing faster, but I obviously had like a very different body type than the girls around me. Like I wasn't just like stick. Like I am pretty like stick. But I kind of had like a butt. I had really long legs and everything was short on me. So then that kind of became a thing of like getting sort of sexualized against, I don't want to say against my will, that sounds a little dramatic, but being sexualized at a young age, and not even really in like a way that's like, I mean, yes, in a way of like grown men being really creepy, but also in a way of like then being acutely aware of like, okay, this is something I should cover up. Like I should cover up the fact that I have a butt. Like I should cover up the fact that like my legs are super long. So like always wearing jeans, never wearing skirts and dresses. And then because of like dress code, I could never really wear dresses and skirts to school because they would always be too short in the eyes of the administrators looking to enforce the dress code. And I think that kind of like sexualization of my body in a way that I didn't really ask for or know like how to deal with also kind of contributed to the ways I felt about being like femme presenting growing up. At that point, like gender wasn't really like a thing I thought about or like talked about or anything like that. It was just kind of like I identified myself as not being really girly. Around the time like in middle school, I started wearing skirts more because my friends like would comment on the fact like, you never wear a skirt, and I would make jokes like, because I'm not a pansy like you. I was going through a little bit of a scene phase at this point, so I was experimenting with like eyeliner, and it got to the point where my mother told me like, stop, because it was just like full raccoon eyes coming at you live 24/7. So then like at a point it was like, okay, I'm not allowed to wear makeup ever, like at school. Ow. And so then some of that want sort of like dwindled. And then my friends sort of, they didn't pressure me, but they were encouraging me like, you should try and wear a skirt, wear a skirt. Why don't you wear a skirt? Wear a skirt. So at one point I kind of remember I was shopping with my grandparents in New York, but I went to these outlets and I went into Urban Outfitters. Okay, so I got like 3 things, and looking back, should have milked that. But, you know, I just like picked out 3 things, one of which happened to be a pencil skirt, because pencil skirts, if we remember, were very big in those years. What year was I in middle school? Mental math. Okay, 2010, 6th grade. 2012, like 2011, 2012, like early 2010. Damn, it's been 9 years. Anyways, pencil skirts were really in, so everyone was, you know, wearing those. So I got a pencil skirt, and I remember the first day I wore it, this guy who I was friends with, shout out to Sean if he ever watches this, and I honestly pray to God he doesn't. Sean, I remember I was like walking in the hallway and I saw Sean. I was wearing my Urban Outfitters outfit, pencil skirt and all, and Sean like walked by me, said hi, and then did like a double take and was like, whoa. He was like, you look really nice today. And I was like, thanks. And then I kind of like realized like, oh, this is like a way to get boys' attention. Like, being feminine, like dressing like a girl, you know, being cute, looking cute all the time. And then that sort of like, I think, started to shift some things for me. In high school, like following year, like 9th grade, I started getting really into like dresses and like cutesy stuff. I was like still on Tumblr, so I was kind of in like a Lola phase. And Instagram was kind of like a new thing that like, you know, me and all my friends were on. So then it was kind of like this like cutesy like Lola hipster girl look that was going on. So I was like obsessed with wearing like really like short dresses, like barely okay with dress code, and like thigh highs, like thigh high socks. So that was like my thing, that was like how I was like expressing this like femininity. It was like this like super like uber girly but also like cutesy like way of looking. Like I wasn't really into being like sexy. It was all very much like, you know, like standard like etiquette codes, you know, if this is out, your legs need to be covered. If your legs are out, this needs to be covered. It was very much like that. Yeah, so then like, you know, high school, I need to get my eyebrows done. High school was like that place where I was kind of getting more into that and obviously getting more attention from guys and things like that. And that was sort of when I think I was like embracing this idea of like femininity as I think it should be. And I know one critique, one thing that a lot of my friends say, and my friends used to say like even back when I was younger, is that like whenever I'm like talking to people who I'm like trying to flirt with, my voice like jumps up hella octaves. And I do know that like when I was younger, I used to talk really higher because another thing I was aware of is like I have a lower voice, and it's not like a girly sounding like cutesy voice. Like it's obviously like a feminine voice, but it's not like up to here, like, oh my god, like that's so funny. Like it's not like, oh no, like, you know, like it's not like that. And that was like another thing that I was aware of, and another thing that I was kind of like consciously like making myself do in order to like, I guess like make myself feel more comfortable about like how I looked and how I was presenting and how I wanted to look and like present and feel. And then high school, that kind of just continued of like wanting to be very like girly cutesy blah blah blah. That was like the whole thing in high school. And then I think it was also at that point that I was like kind of starting to be like confronted with this idea that like I was like attractive and like sexually viable, like people wanted to like do things with me. That was like a big leap as well. And then like on my 16th birthday, like part of like my gift was that my mom was like letting me wear makeup, because before it was like a special events thing. Like I could wear makeup if I was like going out to like a party or like doing a nice dinner, or like on New Year's I always got to wear makeup. And it's like, it's not that I wasn't around, it's not that I didn't have makeup. Like I had a bunch of makeup because my aunt worked at Sephora at the time. And so I would get all this free makeup. Like I had a naked palette before all my friends. Like I like had a bunch of freaking makeup. And I would play with it like on my own time, but I would never like get too into it, and I never would like really take pictures of myself in it or like go out wearing it, because I like wasn't allowed to go out really wearing it. And then like when I turned 16, my mom was like, okay, like you can wear eyeliner. But that became like another like thing that I started having to like think about, like, okay, like now I can wear makeup, now I can be cutesy, whatever. And I think a lot of them that sort of then I like started to project that and this like wanting to be girlier onto like other things I would do, obviously just like dressing, but then also wanting to really be in like a strong like girl clique, wanting to wear like super frilly like homecoming dresses. You know, it was always kind of that that I like wanted to be into, and it was at like a point where like I wouldn't like wear jeans, like I wouldn't wear pants, and it was like a big thing for me to like want to wear pants. And then, you know, the dawn of American Apparel. Eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Everyone was into that. And that's sort of when like another thing kind of started to happen with me and how I was perceiving myself and perceiving like my body and my femininity and like thinking about it. because a lot of American Apparel clothes, as we know, is either like short, tight, or see-through. And the ads were really sexualized. So then that became a thing, was that I was like allowed to shop at American Apparel. I was shopping at American Apparel all the time. I still have my riding pants that I bought in like sophomore year, or like freshman or sophomore year of high school. I still have my riding pants that I bought from American freaking Apparel. So then I had like all these American Apparel clothes that I would wear like at home, but I wouldn't like wear out. Like I had these like crop tops that I wouldn't wear out of the house. I had these skirts, I had these bodysuits, I had all these things that I wasn't going to wear because I'm like, this is too straight, it's too tight, it's too short, I feel and then like even with crop tops, it's like I never wanted to like show my midriff because I was like, it's too much skin. I don't like showing this much skin. I need to be covered up all the time. Like I don't want to be like this. Like it was like a conflict of like wanting to be really like femme and also like not wanting to be, because it was like really uncomfortable. And it's like still kind of a conflict now at times, but back then it was like a big thing, and it was kind of hard to work through. And like part of that was also just like body image issues and just like feeling as though like a lot of like body dysmorphia at the time. But it was like this weird reckoning that I wasn't like fully ready to like accept and get into, like growing up in this like super, not super conservative, but like very kind of like conservative like southern little town. And it was odd. It was like really odd for me. It kind of like grew into the point of then like eventually like getting my black card and getting my first weave for the first time. And that became a huge thing because again, all of my ideas of like womanhood and femininity were tied to this like white idea of femininity. And that to me was always very connected with hair. And like in the Black community, there's a lot you can do with your hair. Your hair is very versatile, but there's also so much like contention and controversy with our hair that's just like systemic and like historical. But even then confronting that in like a mainly white environment can be really difficult too, because then you have like people who are like, oh, like you're trying to look like you're white, you're trying to be like white. And it's like, no, I'm not. I just am shitty with my hair and I want to have longer hair. So then that became a big thing, where like weaves. And I think at first I got weaves because like, yes, I hated my hair. I hated having short hair. It was like a way for me to be more femme, more white, more, you know. I think at that point it was. I think then as like I grew and like now I understand like, you know, having a weave is sort of like a tool of like growing my hair, protecting my hair. It's a protective style, but I've also like now even like branched off into like braids, and I pretty much just get braids. But yeah, then that became kind of another thing that was like propelling this weird conclusion that I would later jump to, I guess. Yeah, then I went to a boarding school and I was like, wow, what a great time to reinvent myself. And at that point my like idea for reinvention was like super preppy, which I've never been, but because of how my schedule was set up, I had a lot of free time in the morning, so I started wearing makeup every single day. I was like not wearing a full face like other people at that school was and did and do, but like I didn't have the commitment or the skills to do that. But I was wearing makeup every day. And then my friend Greta, who's great at makeup, she like then was sort of like, she was really into lipstick. She still is. But she was really into lipstick, so then she started like kind of encouraging me like, yeah, you should wear lipstick, wear a dark color, do it, why not? So then that became like a fun thing as well. It was like getting to wear lipstick and like having this other new like sense of like cutesy and girly and whatever. And it was also at this point where I was like, you know what, I'm embracing the long-legged Susie that I am, wearing all these crop tops, wearing all these tiny little clothes. And I think what like add to a extent was I was like very girly. I was dressing consistently very feminine. And you know, this all kind of came to like an interesting point when I realized like, shit, I like girls. And then that became like a thing too of like, like what to do with this masculine energy. I guess that, I don't know. And that's not to say that it's like having some like masculine energy, having some masculine qualities is like what constitutes my attraction to women. I don't think that's what it is. But to a degree, I think that like my masculine energy will constantly, not constantly, but more often than not be in conflict with like guys who I'm with or pursuing or who are pursuing me. I think that's always kind of going to be a thing. Whereas in like some queer relationships that I've like tried to pursue, or people have tried to pursue me, it like hasn't been that much of an issue. These brows, man, bro. And then just kind of going on into college, and you know, everyone sort of has like their own thing. Everyone has like their own identity. Everyone's sort of like having this like reckoning of like not only just like who am I outside of my hometown, who am I outside of like my parents' walls, who am I here in the world, but also like what do I really like? And then just like further like what is gender, you know? Like kind of like recently over like the past year or so, I've been kind of like reckoning like with my own like sisterhood, like, and some of it is like understood. Okay, I feel as though I'm pursuing this like image of like total womanhood, like pure femme, like femininity, and I know I do it as a way to like compensate for the fact that I don't really feel all of that on the inside. And I know that, and I'm aware of that, but I don't know what to do with that other than to keep doing what I'm doing, which is like be full femme most of the time, which like is probably a little problematic and damaging to myself. But like, I don't know. There's been times where, you know, I've like dressed a little soft mask, and my friends always like love it. They're like, yes, and I'm just like, oh god. And it's like kind of a weird thing to do and to be like into and be comfortable doing, but it's like, you know, sometimes it is just the more comfortable option is to dress a little masculine. In a sense, I don't want to say lucky, but in a sense, you know, I'm easier off because it's like I'm okay being full femme most of the time, you know, and like it's not that I have any desire to like have a fully androgynous look, because that's just not me. That's not really what I want. That's not what it, like, that wouldn't appease me and help me be me in any way. So there's even that, but it goes like further into like, it's like wanting to put on lashes is more than just like wanting to learn how to put on lashes. Like part of it is like, I just feel as though I should freaking learn. I want to step my makeup game up, honey. But some of it is also just like, I feel like if I do that and can do that, then it like makes this like femme, like this like femme goal like hella more achievable, because it's like I can put on freaking lashes. I'm like, who, like, you know, like a full face is not a full face without some goddamn lashes, honey. What to do? This is a naked palette I had before all my friends. I don't know, that's just like a lot that I've been thinking about. It's like, what, like why gender? Why bother going into it? Why bother dealing with it? When, you know, sometimes you just don't have to. Like, you don't need to. I've always like said like I'm queer, but I say that less in a way to reference gender. I mean, no. I think I say it for both reasons. I think I say it, one, just to describe my sexuality, because if people ask, I'll say like I'm bi, but like I don't really care. You know, so I've always kind of used like queer as a way to like describe myself in that sense. And I know a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, use queer as kind of like an all-encompassing term, not only for sexual orientation but also for like gender identity as well, because it's like a comfortable umbrella that like can fit everyone under it. And I think it's like easy to use. It's easier to use than to try and like identify? Am I non-binary? Am I gender queer? Am I gender fluid? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I know so many people who have tried to like find that label and have found, okay, maybe this is one that works. And then they're like, well, wait, I don't think it does. You know, it's like gender is fluid. Like, you don't have to box yourself in. There's just no reason to box yourself in. And there was never a reason to box yourself in. Also, side note, don't misgender people. It's unnecessary. It's like literally the bare minimum to do. Just don't do it. You're an asshole if you do. Just don't do it. It's not hard. It's really not hard. Dash fact. But I mean, oh, this is gonna be bad. Beyond that, it's like, what's really even, why do we even like have to bother ourselves with these things, you know? We don't. We do, but ultimately we don't. But it's like a matter of like, one, growth, and two, just like being comfortable with yourself. And I have a lot of work to do on that front, and I'm not fully ashamed to say that. It's like, I know I have a lot of growing to do. I know I have a lot of love that I need, like I, you know, owe myself, and I need to give myself at some point. And that, you know, goes, you know, oh God, how did I, Jesus. Oh. That goes into like being accepting of this thing that I've always felt. It goes into being accepting of the fact I've never really truly felt 100% woman. It goes into that. And I gotta get used to that. I gotta get comfortable with that. I gotta understand altogether what that means for me. I am really effing this up. It's hard at times too, especially when you like kind of think about, you know, the other implications of like what it means to explore that. And that's, I think, some of the fear is. And that's been some of like the fear, bags in my face, sorry. That's what some of the fear is, I know, for me and for like some of my other friends. It's like, okay, what happens if I start being more masculine? How's my family gonna react to that? How are people that I'm romantically interested in gonna react to that? Like, it's just like a lot to like think about and to deal with, and it's like so much easier to just not deal with it. And it's like, again, I don't want to say lucky, but like in my case, I don't I feel the conflict, but not to the same degree of like it's like tearing my soul apart that I need to confront it constantly. It is something that I can like, for the most part, easily just push down into like the recesses of my mind and not really think about and not really care about and not really deal with. That's just like part of how I feel about it. Gender's a myth, and we're better off without it. For the moment I've been waiting for. You have to trim it? You have to trim these? This is not gonna happen. There's a lot into this. Me confronting my gender. I didn't know this was that complicated. People make it look so easy. You know what? I'll clean it up later. I'll clean it up later. I don't know how to use this. I've watched a tutorial in my day. I've watched one. Haha. Oh God. Okay, I see where wait. I feel like you want to put it in the middle, right? This is freaking scary. I already know that I effed up. Okay. You know what? I don't think it's, hold on. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's terrible. All right, that is tragic. I don't think that's the worst. I think honestly, it's like falling into my eyeball, but I don't think that's the worst that could have happened. I think I probably should have put it more. I was like, all right, that one's even more effed up. Oh my god. Why did it? I think this one's like falling off actually. Alright, well, we all know what I'm bad at. This. Oh, wow. That's a lady. Doesn't even matter because I have full goddamn front bangs. Am I a lady yet? There's so... Why do they look like that? Okay. I want to take a selfie.
Hello.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm filming. I did like a chatty get ready with me. I put on lashes. They're like not on right, but I put on lashes.
Oh my goodness. You look really good.
Look, they're like, wait, I wonder if you can see, can you see them?
Like wife of politician.
Can you see them from the side?
Yeah, I can. They're great. What kind of lashes are they?
They're just from like CVS. I'm literally still filming. I put on lashes! I'm a real woman!
Oh man.
Alright, well this is hurting me, so I'm gonna take it. I hate you. I just needed someone to see them. I guess I'll take selfies. I'll take selfies.
Bye bye.
Bye. This hurt. It really hurts my eye.
Then take them out.
I'm going to. I put it on wrong.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening, staying around for all of that. If any of that was relatable, or you can just relate to that whole gender struggle, like, we'll figure it out. All of us together, we'll figure it out. Eventually, at some point, hopefully. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's it. Calories are out? Yeah. Calories are out. Bye.